Hello. See you again with Car Expert YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get the newest update of car reviews. The 2016 Cadillac ATS-V's flared bodywork and quad exhaust pipes offer bits of visual shock and awe, but significant hardware upgrades back up the go-fast looks. Front and center is a twin-turbocharged, 3.6-liter V6 with reworked internals including a charged air cooler, titanium connecting rods, and titanium aluminite turbines. The new engine produces 464 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque, up a staggering 262 horsepower and 173 pounds-to-foot compared to a base 4-cylinder ATS. The chassis benefits from several structural braces, most notably a shear panel intended to boost front-end stiffness. Extra poundage from the add-ons are minimized through lighter weight materials, in the case of the shear panel, stamped aluminum. At 150 miles per hour, the optional carbon fiber package, which includes a more aggressive splitter, gurney lips, a bigger spoiler, and a rear splitter, adds 10 pounds of front lift and 50 pounds of rear downforce, netting 40 pounds of overall downforce. The track package adds a performance data recorder and a lighter battery, and removes the floor mats, tire inflator kit, tow hook, and sunroof. By replacing the hydraulic steering and passive suspension damping with electric steering and a third-gen Magna ride setup, Cadillac says the car's limits are more controllable while offering a wider dynamic range. Tens of thousands of hours of CFD, computational flow dynamics, computer time were also used to fine-tune airflow in order to finesse the vehicle's drag and lift dynamics. As for gearboxes, Roma says Cadillac opted for an 8-speed torque converter-equipped automatic over a dual-clutch transmission, which would have been heavier and potentially less fuel-efficient. Dual clutches are also uber expensive if you don't already have one in your lineup, he says, though Roma does admit that the smoothness and swiftness of the latest Porsche 911 GT3's transmission made it the first dual clutch to change his opinion about the technology. The 8-speed auto shares many parts with the 6L80 box found in the Z06, and can handle up to 650 pounds-to-foot of torque, while the manual offers launch control, active rev matching, and no lift shift, a feature that enables the driver to keep the throttle pinned between cog swaps in order to maintain turbo boost. Our first drive of the Cadillac ATS-V starts in downtown Austin and heads to Circuit of the Americas, a rather unexceptional route that reveals little of car's true personality, especially since we opted for a standard drive mode. That said, the ATS-V seems livable in real-world conditions, a fact backed up by Cadillac's David Caldwell, who describes the ATS-V as having track-capable luxury that is more like a scalpel, as opposed to the upcoming, uber-powerful CTS-V, which is essentially a four-door Corvette Z06 he likens to a sledgehammer with maximum aggression and capability. Aimed at Circuit of the Americas uphill front straight that leads directly into the daunting, off-camber left-hander, the ATS-V's launch control system fires the car off with a bang, squatting as it climbs strongly through the revs. Though you're not treated with quite the same boom out of the chute feeling during normal launches due to the relatively tall gearing and somewhat progressive torque buildup, the 8-speed auto performs admirably despite its slush box architecture. Upshifts are quick and rev-matched downshifts occur swiftly. Once into the meaty part of the torque curve, the ATS-V accelerates with gusto, and even more impressive is how it stops. The big, 6-piston Brembos are capable of scrubbing off speed dramatically. After braking far too early during the first lap or two, the powerful stoppers give the confidence to build up higher speeds before finally stabbing the left pedal. On the back straight we hit 145 miles per hour, and being able to rely on the binders makes the engine's output even more meaningful than its 464 horsepower figure might suggest. The manual gearbox is a hoot on the track, but requires some leaps of faith from drivers unaccustomed to newfangled electronics on roll-it-yourself shifters. The no-lift shift function allows the accelerator to stay mashed in between shifts, and keeping the pedal pinned makes any mechanically sympathetic driver think twice. But once the deed is done, The reward is a smooth flow of power that GM engineers say trimmed lap times by 1.5 seconds at the company's Milford Proving Ground track. Also assisting the argument for the 6-speed manual transmission is rev match downshifting, which works like a charm and can be easily switched off. The ATS-V delivers better steering feel than you might expect from Caddy. The golden age of BMW's legendary M-series cars of yesteryear still can't be touched when it comes to tactile feedback and transparent road feel. Though it works better than you might expect for an electric unit, there's still a hint of artificiality to the ATS-V's steering feel. Nonetheless, the ATS-V turns in nicely and responds well to steering input, though the body can feel a tad heavy when pushed harder. The first lap or two of a track session also reveals excellent damping over curving, thanks in part to lighter-weight components that contribute to low unsprung mass, and partly due to the adaptive suspension's ability to soften when necessary. The V6 offers what is arguably a more satisfying torque curve than the near-perfect linearity of BMW's inline 6, but those power plants lose ground to Mercedes-Benz's V8-powered C63, which wins the engine wars with its punchy power delivery and raucous personality. And speaking of sounds, Cadillac uses the stereo speakers for noise cancellation as well as audio augmentation that enhances engine tone. "We're not piping in engine sounds," insists Roma, but rather amplifying small sections of what you like to hear. Because the firing order of the V6 creates tonal patterns in orders of 3, the system is designed to tune out unwanted sounds that are developed below 3,000 revolutions per minute. That algorithm gets flipped above 3,000 revolutions per minute, at which point it adds audio content through the speakers. Most impressive is how the ATS-V stands up to its German foes. Sure, you can put a finer point on the differences and note that the Cadillac's V6 lacks the addictive qualities of the Mercedes-AMG C63's torquey V8, or realize that its chassis isn't quite as delicately balanced as the BMW's, but you might be missing the point. Cadillac has stepped up with a seriously competitive car, and its ATS-V makes a strong argument for itself in a high-performance realm where it wasn't always taken seriously. Some drivers may still prefer to go German, and those reasons are perfectly valid, but now more than ever, it's a compelling time to opt for the American alternative.